when it comes to the investigation, the FBI is asking for people to come forward who were at that concert if they have any kind of videos that they can bring forward to hopefully shed more light on what happened last night.
Right now we're sitting on a combat outpost, and we're basically in the middle of I guess enemy territory, and we've been on the road, as I said, for about 13 hours, and basically we still got a lot more work to do. One of the roadways we need to get by, some IEDs have been reported, so we're gonna have to go check those out.
Travis and his buddies are heading down a remote road inside the forest when they see some kind of ominous light. A craft is hovering over the tree line. And that's when Travis's curiosity got the best of it. This entire map represents about 1.5 miles that they're searching. And when you think about that, 1.5 miles on foot in mud, soot, debris.
What these patrols are essentially about is that the soldiers are going to be engaging village leaders and see if they've seen any insurgents or if they have any other troubles.
CBS 5's Jeff Van Zandt investigates on how hypoxia training might be lacking, putting pilots as well as passengers at risk.
15, 16.
Switches up so you can breathe.
I think I started feeling very happy, very kind of giggly. I just wanted to smile all the time.
And we're on the way up.
I get kind of tingly fingers, and then the tingling will kind of spread up my arms and legs and my extremities.
11230.
And then I'll kind of start to get tunnel vision, and then I generally will just start to feel just bad.
You can turn the 100 white switch back to normal if you're feeling okay.
I just don't feel good at all.
Gang load the regulator.
Pilots get a unique experience, a high-altitude chamber.
Heading up at about 3,000 feet a minute.
Experiencing what it's like 25,000 feet up while safely on the ground. At altitude, they remove their oxygen masks.
Turn your regulators off.
To induce hypoxia, starving the body of oxygen. Reactions vary. Some you can tell, others start to laugh.
She's already chuckling.
It just makes you more aware of yourself and your own body's limitations.
From 25,000 feet to a massive decompression at 45,000 feet. It's all vital training for a pilot to have.
Blood oxygen levels got down to about 66, but I still felt functional, at least enough to put my mask back on. I recognized that I had some hypoxia.
Hypoxia has led to several deadly crashes here in the U.S. The most high-profile, October 25th, 1999.
Payne Stewart is the 1999 U.S. Open champion.
Golfer Payne Stewart's Learjet lost cabin pressure, incapacitating the crew and passengers. The plane crashed. All on board died.
Helios Airways Flight 522 crashes in Greece.
Outside the
Helios
U.S.
Airways
in 2005, Helios Flight 522, a 737 lost cabin pressure. It flew for hours and crashed, killing 121.
Quite a few loss of cabin pressurization, and the crews didn't do what they should have.
It's not just cowboys in the sky. We have to be safe.
High-altitude chamber training isn't mandatory to become a civilian pilot. The FAA only requires classroom work talking about hypoxia, but nothing like this.
Masks changed. Let's do another check with 11.
It's a financial thing. We're at 15,000.
Rob Dietrichs runs the high-altitude chamber at ASU. He has years of flying experience in the Air Force and as a private pilot. He's also helped in the investigation of more than 20 high-profile airline crashes. Rob says it comes down to cost.
In order for the pilots to go through training, I've got to pull them off of service on the flight line, and I've got to pay them to come to this training, as well as pay their wages and pay for their training.
Lightheaded, thank you.
Training like this runs into the thousands. It's up to the individual pilot to pay.
It's having the knowledge behind it, because if you had someone who had no prior training in hypoxia and they got it, they wouldn't know.
We have to be aware of it because the FAA says that we need to. However, unless you've experienced it, I mean, you just don't know.
Hypoxia training could be better. It only increases the safety of pilots and passengers, Airlines could require it before piloting a large aircraft.
I'm at flight level 33.
But it might have to take a disaster to make that change.
Crew chief.
But until we have one that takes an airliner down
Pilots misunderstood the warning signal due to hypoxia.
in the United States,
13. Gotcha.
you're going to politically not be able to get industry to start insisting on the training.
That was Jeff Van Sant reporting. The FAA says besides requiring classroom work on hypoxia, it does have its own mobile high-altitude chamber that's taken to air shows and events, and that allows pilots to experience hypoxia. They help run a business by day, but by night, they take care of business in the ring.
Wrestling runs in the blood for this Valley family, and as Jeff Van Sant reports, it's something that they live for.
Mexican wrestling is the best.
Once we come out, it's a different thing. It's just unexplainable.
The showmanship, the panache.
You gotta look shiny, you gotta look good.
Drama, brotherhood, family.
Oh man, it feels great. I got my dad with me, my brother. We're gonna wrestle as a team today.
Throw that into a blender, and you've got Lucha Libre. And for some, it's tradition. Meet the Escobedos, their teammates in the ring and out. In a family-run upholstery shop in Apache Junction.
Fabric's getting old. We have to change it.
Dad Rudy and his two sons, Tony.
Since I was 14, actually, I started wrestling.
And Jose.
We're gonna make it look brand new. Well, I've been working here since I was 15 years old. Yeah, my dad's had this business for 12 years.
Ready for the customers to pick up.
It's mostly an unassuming shop, but high up on the wall, a family dynasty is on display. At least 4 generations of wrestlers in this one family. Rudy is in his late 50s and going strong.
I think I have it in my blood. As a little boy, all of my family, my uncles, my grandparents. I'm from the descendants of Lucha Libre.
Growing up, wrestling was everything. You know how people have pets? Instead of a pet, we had a ring. We always had a ring in the family.
This business pays the bills.
We train pretty much every day.
Rudy wants his kids to have a trade other than wrestling.
I feel very proud because I feel they're doing things good, and they're going down the right path. They're young, and I hope they will do big things in their career.
But while they're hammering, stitching, and fixing,
fires are a big help.
Their minds are always on the next match.
It's just our passion. It's what we love to do. It's what we love to do, to just go in the ring and have fun.
This is what they live for.
I'm really pumped up. It's going to be a good night. It's going to be a good night tonight. Crowd looks happy. It looks like they're having fun.
And the crowd is part of the show.
I asked one of the guys, I said, how can you put up with all the cussing? He goes, well, if you don't cuss me out, I'm not doing my job.
It can be painful, hard work, but this ring is just another family member to the Escobedos. They say the bright lights and excitement is a show they'll never miss.
Once you come out and you see 500 people out there screaming your name, it feels great.
Jeff Van Sant, CBS 5 News.
Is Q13 Fox News at 9.
Flames spreading fast, fueled by high winds. Skies filled with smoke.
I could see smoke and the glow coming around behind our place.
Fire crews doing everything they can to save homes.
My heart says I hope they make progress, but it is so timber dry.
It is a crisis situation on the east side of the state tonight, and it's getting worse fast. Good evening, I'm David Rose.
And I'm Marnie Hughes. Massive wildfires are ripping across thousands of acres tonight, and they are threatening a growing number of homes. Jeff Van Sant joins us live from the Meadow Valley. Jeff, we have been watching you get ready for this live shot for the last little while. I'm amazed you can even breathe out there. We're going to let you get to it.
Yeah, guys, it's just absolutely surreal out here. I'm getting so much ash in my eyes. It's indescribable. I have never experienced anything like this. You could take a look behind me. Look at that wall of flames. Now, that just comes and goes throughout the day because there's so much smoke and these gusting winds are pushing this thing further and further, and this thing just seems to be completely out of control. And this is a very dangerous situation in this area, and many have had to been forced out of their homes. Everywhere you look, fire. Running down hillsides, gusting winds pushing the flames towards homes and forcing many to flee.
You're just looking at a fire that just came down over the hill, and it's probably going to wipe out all these houses right here.
Lynn Anders is helping her sister-in-law get out of this ranch that sits in the path of the fire. They're leaving the horses and farm animals behind. They have no time to gather them up. The entire area is in the path of this blaze, including her home.
Mine is right up there, and it's under attack too, so I had to leave. I'm just trying to get these kids out of here.
It was like a mass exodus down here.
Tim Germain packed up his family, leaving a home that might not be there tomorrow.
We got all the family and the dogs out, and a house can be replaced.
The flames sit right on the edge of his property.
It's really something. It's even last night. I mean, it's way worse now, but last night it really looked like the cauldron of hell. You can see flames everywhere you looked.
Tim's home sits in the Methow Valley, an area surrounded by this blaze, heavy smoke, wind, and ash.
It's terrible. It hurts the eyes and it hurts the throat, and we have an orange sun again. It's terrible. It's kind of scary.
Charlene Montour moved to this area just last month. Her home isn't threatened and prays crews can get a handle on this blaze.
So all we can do is just hope for the best, and they haven't said to evacuate or anything. So we're just sitting here until we need to go.
For Tim, he's worried this early start to the fire season could spell disaster.
With this kind of heat and wind, it looks like Eastern Washington's going to burn to the ground.
All right, you get another live look inside the Methow Valley, and what you're seeing right now is flames right next to a home. These fire crews have been so hard at work throughout this entire day, and the scenes that we've been seeing have been just incredible. And now we're going to push along that ridge line. We have seen so many flare-ups going up that ridge line. It keeps just pushing to the side there, and again, with these gusting winds and very hot temperatures, this thing is just going to continue to take off. But as I said, these crews have been all over this area trying to get a handle on this blaze, and it's not looking good weather-wise. We're going to see temperatures hovering up in the upper 90s tomorrow, and possibly gusting winds up to about 20 miles per hour. So you can imagine how much growth we might possibly see tomorrow. Guys, back to you.
Felt very strange. You could definitely feel something different in the air.
Just outside Oracle and beneath the ground, we enter the past.
We're down in the old Titan II ballistic missile.
Grant Wilson is the owner of a decommissioned launch facility.
Probably about 6 tons. This is actual door that would go to the shaft, the alleyway that would go to the missile silo itself.
Closed down long ago in the 80s, but for years this base remained on alert in what became known as MAD, mutually assured destruction. Both the U.S. and the Russians had the power to completely annihilate each other.
See, these big, they'll help stabilize everything if a blast ever would occur close by in a near proximity.
We're about 30 feet underground, and I'm just moving a blast door out of the way. So there's one here and another one in there, and that's what helps protect the crew as they launched a missile.
There was a bunch of leads in here that were gold.
The entire facility can go down as far as 150 feet. Here, airmen worked.
I guess this probably was the head honcho's office in here.
And slept.
This is actually a bedroom, and the bathroom in here with shower.
A relic from an era of high tension. Thankfully, it was never used.
I try not to think about it too much because the whole idea of it really does scare me and should scare everybody.
Grant bought this silo years ago. It was buried in concrete, so he dug it out. It took about 30 days. As for what he might do next, he's open to options.
Maybe we ought to open a nightclub. We can call it the Silo.
Jeff Van Sant, CBS 5 News.
Well, Afghanistan is one of the deadliest places on earth where our soldiers face a determined enemy. One of the biggest dangers soldiers face are improvised explosive devices.
Our very own Jeff Van Sant joined a battalion based out of Joint Base Lewis McChord in southern Afghanistan, tasked with finding those bombs and keeping vital supply routes open. This is the first of 5 stories of 30 days in Afghanistan.
In the moon dust-filled landscape of southern Afghanistan, the 22nd Engineer Clearance Company searches for a dangerous and elusive enemy, improvised explosive devices, or IEDs.
And there's two ways to find the bomb. It finds you or you find it.
Their mission, clearing out explosives planted by the Taliban on vital supply routes.
I think you have to be a little bit crazy to do our job, period.
It's like a life or death game of chess.
You know, they throw this stuff in the route, we trying to find it, if we don't find it, so we get hit. So game over.
It is the most dangerous duty in Afghanistan. So far this year, 201 Americans have been killed by IEDs. That represents nearly 2/3 of all U.S. deaths this year.
You can get hit any time. You know, you can get ambulances on these routes. They're perfect setup for that, so it's kind of exciting too.
You have multiple attacks from small arms fire, RPGs, recoilless rifles, IEDs. You gotta be ready at any time. You gotta be vigilant.
The 22nd Engineers are based out of Joint Base Lewis McChord.
Fire in the hole!
Nearly all did some training at the massive 327,000-acre Yakima Training Center.
So if you see anything suspicious, call it out.
They're now putting their training to good use. These engineers have been in Afghanistan since July.
An old saying that is, you know, when we fight, you're in the enemy's backyard. Well, we are definitely here in Afghanistan in the enemy's kitchen.
Like many of these soldiers, this is my first time ever in combat. The stakes don't get higher than this.
If you don't find something and somebody else gets hit, you know, it'll take a toll on you, so yeah, it's a lot of pressure sometimes, so.
The engineers' vehicles are state-of-the-art MRAPs, Army speak for mine-resistant ambush protected.
Getting blown up is in the back of your mind, but it's what we do.
The MRAPs are designed to survive powerful IEDs. Some of these soldiers have experienced explosions firsthand.
Twice that happened, just look at my arms, I'm okay, look at my legs. But then the next thing, it's my family. After you guys, after my soldiers, that's all I have.
Oh, are you right?
When you see a vehicle in front of you getting all blown up, you think that, you know, they're all dead. It's the first instinct when they don't talk, but in reality, everyone's just trying to get, you know, their ears, you know, kind of see, because it's so dusty. When the truck gets hit, there's so much dust inside, it's just everywhere. You kind of try to get a hold of, you know, get your bearings, you know, see what's going on, assess the situation.
Roger, keep pushing.
It's a grueling job. Missions often begin before dawn and last until the next morning. Right now we're sitting on a combat outpost, and we're basically in the middle of, I guess, enemy territory. And we've been on the road, as I said, for about 13 hours. And basically we still got a lot more work to do. One of the roadways we need to get by, some IEDs have been reported, so we're gonna have to go check those out.
My brain's fried right now. Is that 17, 20, been up for 18 hours? Something like that?
All rugged, bird.
Got the crew in the back.
It's a treacherous and claustrophobic life. Most engineers never get out of their vehicles.
If you have to go to the bathroom, you're kind of out of luck. You got to pee in bottles. You're pretty much in everyone's personal space. I wouldn't even say you have personal space. You cramp up, your butt falls asleep. You get thrown around if you're in the gunner's hatch.
The creaking, the crackling, the suspension's rough, so it beats you all day. The seats are made for you to survive an explosion, so they're special, you know, and they're not comfortable.
I'm not allowed to say exactly where we are, except that it's the birthplace of the Taliban. These men call it the box of death.
Just always, you know, always stuff going on. There's just always getting shot at. There's always a bomb.
And an enemy that could be anywhere.
If you do engage, they'll engage you and then they'll run away.
I don't know. They don't wear a uniform. You know, probably those farmers, they farm the land during the day. They probably be the same guy that plays an ID at night.
It's a battle that never ends in a country where there is no place we can call safe.
And Jeff Van Sant joins us now. Jeff, you know, I was just watching that. The images are just amazing. You know, you were out there for 13 to 18 hours at a time. Talk about the toll, I guess, and the stress really from doing something like that.
It's unbelievable. I mean, you're in a vehicle, and you know, these things are designed to take IED blasts. So, you know, you're strapped in. It's a 5-point harness. So you're not moving. You're not moving around in that thing, because if you do hit something, you know, you're going to get knocked around. You're going to get something broken. And it takes a huge toll on you. That particular mission where I said we've been out for 13 hours, we ended up for 23 hours.